The camera catches it all. The moment when Danny the Count Koker's face shifts from his trademark smile to something harder, something uncompromising. The Las Vegas sun beats down on Count's customs as Danny stares into the distance, his sunglasses hiding eyes that have seen decades of automotive brilliance and betrayal. For years, he's built not just custom cars and motorcycles, but a reputation for excellence that's become his signature, as surely as the black clothes and bandanas. But behind every successful business are the stories we don't see on camera, the personnel decisions, the broken trust, and the employees who didn't live up to the Count's code. In this video, we're revealing the 5 worst employees to ever walk through the doors of Count's Customs, and why each one forced Danny to draw a line in the concrete. The number 1 spot belongs to someone whose actions nearly derailed everything Danny had built, and you won't believe how it all went down. Stay with me to the end to see who lands at number 1 on Danny's own list of workshop nightmares. Danny Koker isn't just a businessman. He's the physical embodiment of an American success story built on passion, knowledge, and relentless standards. When Counting Cars debuted on History Channel in 2012, audiences were drawn not just to the stunning vehicle transformations, but to Danny's leadership style. Demanding but fair, exacting but generous, tough but loyal. For the Count, every project that rolls through Count's Customs is more than just another job. It's a reflection of his personal brand, his family legacy, and his reputation in the tight-knit Las Vegas custom car community. The crew at Count's Customs doesn't just work for Danny. They work with him in an environment where second best isn't just disappointing, it's unacceptable. With millions of dollars in custom builds on the line and clients ranging from everyday car enthusiasts to A-list celebrities, the pressure inside the shop can be crushing. In this high-stakes world where a single mistake can cost tens of thousands of dollars or tarnish a reputation built over decades, Danny expects nothing less than total commitment, unfailing honesty, and craftsmanship that borders on obsession. Those who couldn't meet those standards, or worse, who actively undermined them, found themselves facing the full force of the Count's judgment. And in the world of custom cars, where your reputation is your currency, being on Danny Koker's bad side isn't just uncomfortable, it can be career-ending. Number 5. Scott Jones. Scott Jones came to Count's Customs with promise, a young fabricator with natural talent and the kind of enthusiasm that can't be faked. Fans warmed to his eager-to-please demeanor during his brief appearances in Season 3, and his backstory as a self-taught car enthusiast from a small town resonated with viewers who saw in Scott a reflection of their own automotive dreams. Danny initially saw potential. In Scott, raw talent that, with the right mentorship, could develop into something special. But Scott's inability to follow instructions quickly became apparent behind the scenes. During the restoration of a 1969 Plymouth Roadrunner, a $100,000 build for a particularly demanding client, Scott was tasked with a straightforward but crucial piece of metal fabrication. Despite clear direction from Danny and senior fabricator Shannon Akow, Scott improvised his approach, believing his way was better. The result was a panel that didn't align properly, requiring hours of additional work and pushing the project dangerously close to its deadline. When confronted, Scott defended his methods rather than acknowledging the mistake. That's when everything changed. While many employees might have received a stern warning and a second chance, Danny operates by a different code. In the high-precision world of custom car building, willful disregard for established processes isn't just about ego, it's about risk. The Count's reputation rests on vehicles that not only look spectacular but function flawlessly, where every weld, every cut, and every measurement must be executed with surgical precision. Scott's resistance to instruction violated one of Danny's core values: humility in the learning process. Now let's rewind to another incident that sealed Scott's fate. During a rush job on a 1957 Chevy Bel Air, a vehicle Danny had personal affection for, Scott was left alone to complete a simple prep task before painting. Reportedly, he became distracted by a conversation with a delivery person and left acetone dangerously close to an ignition source, creating a fire hazard that was discovered just in time by Ryan Evans, the shop's head painter. When Danny learned about the near miss, the shop's atmosphere changed immediately. Safety violations aren't just workplace infractions at Counts Customs, they're betrayals of the family-like trust that keeps the high-pressure environment functioning. The final straw came when Scott began arriving late repeatedly, offering excuses that grew increasingly elaborate. For a man like Danny, who reportedly arrives before sunrise most days out of sheer passion for the work, this pattern signaled a fundamental mismatch in values. While the cameras never captured Scott's departure, production crew members later confirmed that Danny called him into the office after hours and explained that Counts Customs required people who lived and breathed the work, not clock punchers looking for a paycheck and television exposure. Did Scott waste an opportunity that thousands of aspiring car builders would kill for? Or was he simply not ready for the intense scrutiny and standards that come with working alongside a perfectionist like Danny Koker? Number 4. Marcus Johnson. Marcus Johnson joined Counts Customs, already a minor celebrity in the custom motorcycle world, bringing with him a portfolio of stunning bike builds and a reputation for innovative design that complemented Danny's more traditional aesthetic. During his time on the show's 4th season, viewers were drawn to Marcus's charismatic camera presence and his ability to translate Danny's sometimes vague creative direction into concrete designs. His custom exhaust systems in particular became minor sensations among the show's motorcycle enthusiasts. But as Marcus's prominence on the show grew, so did evidence of what production insiders called the fame monster. According to crew members who witnessed the transformation, Marcus began arriving at promotional events with an entourage, sometimes keeping fans waiting while he perfected his appearance. During a major bike show in Sturgis, South Dakota in 2015, Marcus reportedly refused to take photos with fans unless they also purchased merchandise, a direct contradiction to Danny's long-standing policy of accessibility and gratitude toward supporters of the business. When confronted about his behavior, Marcus allegedly dismissed Danny's concerns, suggesting that the old man doesn't understand how to leverage celebrity. The comment, overheard by several staff members, quickly made its way back to Danny. But here's where it gets complicated. Unlike many reality TV bosses who might have created on-camera drama from the situation, Danny addressed it privately, keeping Marcus's increasingly problematic behavior away from the cameras out of respect for the craftsmanship he still valued. Now, let's rewind to what many consider the beginning of the end for Marcus at Counts Customs. During a charity event benefiting children's cancer research, a cause personally important to Danny, who has lost friends to the disease, Marcus showed up visibly intoxicated. According to attendees, he made inappropriate comments during a moment of silence and had to be escorted away by Kevin, Danny's right-hand man. The incident violated Danny's fundamental code of respect, not just for the business but for the community that supports it. The final breakdown occurred when Marcus began negotiating his own side deals with clients who came to Counts Customs, allegedly offering to expedite their builds for additional payments made directly to him, a violation of both business ethics and the family-like trust that Danny expects from everyone who works under the Counts Customs banner. When a longtime client mentioned his special arrangement with Marcus during a conversation with Danny, the revelation hit like a thunderbolt. Marcus was removed from the show with minimal explanation to viewers, with Danny simply stating on camera that sometimes people take different paths. Behind the scenes, however, Danny reportedly made it clear to the remaining team that no level of talent justifies dishonesty or disrespect to the customers who trust Counts Customs with their automotive dreams and hard-earned money. Was Marcus a casualty of reality TV fame, unprepared for the spotlight that comes with being part of a hit show? Or did his actions reveal character flaws that would have eventually surfaced regardless of the cameras? Number 3. Vanessa Mitchell. Vanessa Mitchell never appeared prominently on camera, but for nearly 2 seasons she was the administrative backbone of Counts Customs, managing the increasingly complex paperwork, client communications and financial tracking that came with the shop's growing fame. Behind the scenes, Danny initially praised Vanessa's organizational skills, crediting her with bringing much-needed structure to a business that had grown faster than its systems could accommodate. Staff members recalled how she transformed the chaotic office into a model of efficiency, creating systems that allowed Danny to focus on what he did best, turning automotive dreams into metal reality. The first cracks appeared when clients began reporting confusion about deposit amounts. A Texas-based collector, who had commissioned a $200,000 custom Cadillac, contacted Danny directly when the deposit amount in his contract didn't match what he'd actually paid. Initially dismissed as a simple clerical error, the discrepancy prompted Vanessa to implement what she called improved accounting protocols that, in retrospect, gave her even more unsupervised control over the shop's finances. By late 2016, Kevin Mack, Danny's best friend and the shop's operations manager, noticed inconsistencies in parts ordering. Performance components that should have been allocated to specific client builds were showing as purchased in the system, but weren't physically present in inventory. When Kevin brought his concerns to Danny, they began quietly monitoring the situation while giving Vanessa opportunities to explain the discrepancies. And that's when everything changed. According to court documents filed later, a systematic audit revealed that Vanessa had allegedly been engaging in a complex scheme, ordering parts through Counts Customs, having some delivered to alternative locations, then reselling them through online marketplaces. The betrayal cut especially deep because Danny had recently expanded Vanessa's responsibilities, giving her oversight of parts procurement as a vote of confidence in her abilities. Now, let's rewind to understand why this betrayal hit Danny particularly hard. 3 years earlier, before the show's national success, Counts Customs had weathered a difficult financial period when the 2008 recession impacted luxury spending. Danny, according to those close to him, had made enormous personal sacrifices to keep his staff employed, even selling prized vehicles from his own collection. He had built the business back up through sheer force of will and the loyalty of a core team who shared his vision. For someone in a position of trust to allegedly exploit that rebuilt success struck at the very foundation of values Danny had instilled in the operation. The confrontation, which wisely occurred off-camera, reportedly left Danny uncharacteristically shaken. According to shop insiders, when presented with evidence, Vanessa offered no apology but instead suggested that her actions were justified by being underpaid for her actual value to the growing enterprise. She was escorted from the premises immediately, with legal action following shortly thereafter. The fallout extended beyond Vanessa's departure. Danny implemented comprehensive new financial controls, requiring multiple approvals for purchases and bringing in external accounting oversight. Measures that, while necessary, represented a painful acknowledgement that the family-like trust he preferred to operate on had its vulnerabilities. Did Vanessa see opportunity in chaos, deliberately exploiting a growing business's administrative growing pains? Or does her case represent the darker potential of reality TV success, where sudden exposure creates temptations that test the character of everyone involved? Number 2. Mike Richards. Mike Richards joined Counts Customs with an impressive resume, having worked at several prestigious West Coast custom shops and developed a reputation for vibrant, flawless paint jobs that made him highly sought after in the industry. His early work at the shop lived up to his reputation. A metal flake blue 1970 Chevelle he completed became one of the most photographed builds in Counts Customs history, appearing in multiple automotive magazines and bringing a wave of new clients specifically requesting Mike's distinctive finish work. Viewers were drawn to Mike's perfectionist tendencies, which seemed to mirror Danny's own approach to craftsmanship. In on-camera interviews, Mike spoke passionately about the importance of preparation, often stating that 90% of a great paint job happens before the paint ever touches the car. This philosophy initially aligned perfectly with the Counts Customs ethos, where rushing is considered the cardinal sin of custom work. The trouble began roughly 18 months into Mike's tenure, coinciding with the show's growing popularity and the shop's increasingly packed project schedule. A 1965 Mustang convertible restoration revealed the first serious issue. What appeared to be minor orange peel in the finish began to show more significant problems after delivery. The client, a retired automotive engineer with a sharp eye for detail, brought the car back after noticing areas where the clear coat was inconsistently applied, creating subtle but unmistakable differences in the finish's depth and gloss. When Danny personally inspected the vehicle, his disappointment was evident to everyone in the shop. Further investigation revealed that Mike had significantly reduced drying times between coats and had cut corners on surface preparation, choices that might not show immediate problems but would compromise the finish's durability and appearance over time. But here's where it gets complicated. Instead of admitting the rushed work, Mike allegedly attempted to blame the issues on environmental factors in the client's garage, suggesting that improper storage had damaged the finish. Now, let's rewind to understand the pressure cooker that had been building. With the show's success came a dramatic increase in high-profile builds, each with television production deadlines that didn't always align with the realities of quality custom work. While most of the team adapted by working longer hours, Danny himself often stayed until midnight. Mike apparently chose a different adaptation: shortcuts that sacrificed long-term quality for short-term timeline compliance. The situation escalated when Ryan Evans, the shop's head painter, discovered that Mike had been thinning products beyond manufacturer's specifications to speed up application and drying times. For Ryan, who had built his reputation on paint jobs that stood the test of time, this wasn't just a procedural violation, it was an ethical breach that could damage the shop's hard-earned reputation. According to production team members who witnessed the confrontation, Ryan brought the issue directly to Danny, bringing evidence from multiple builds that showed a pattern of compromised quality. The final straw came during work on a 1959 Cadillac, a six-figure build for a celebrity client whose name has never been publicly disclosed. Under tremendous deadline pressure, Mike allegedly skipped critical steps in the preparation process and proceeded directly to base coat application. The paint failure was catastrophic and immediate. Adhesion issues created visible bubbling within days, requiring the entire vehicle to be stripped back to bare metal and restarted, an expensive and time-consuming disaster that fell to Ryan and his team to fix. Danny's decision to remove Mike from the team was swift, but, according to those present, delivered with a gravity that reflected his disappointment rather than anger. Counting Cars never directly addressed Mike's departure on air, but Danny later made reference to it obliquely during a team meeting about quality standards, reportedly saying, "We've already learned the hard lesson about what happens when we put speed before substance." Did Mike buckle under the unique pressures of creating custom cars on television timelines? Or did the exposure simply reveal character traits that would have eventually compromised his work, regardless of the circumstances? Number 1. Jason Roberts. Jason Roberts wasn't just an employee. He was positioned to be Danny's successor, the heir apparent who would eventually guide Count's Customs into its next chapter. As Danny's nephew and a gifted mechanic in his own right, Jason enjoyed a level of trust and autonomy that no other team member had ever been granted. From 2012 to early 2015, he appeared regularly on the show, often handling the most sensitive client interactions and given responsibility for the shop's operations whenever Danny was traveling. Viewers responded warmly to the family connection, appreciating the mentor-protege dynamic between uncle and nephew and the sense of legacy it brought to the Count's Customs story. Behind the scenes, Danny had been methodically increasing Jason's equity stake in the business, preparing for what many assumed would eventually be a full leadership transition. According to those close to the situation, Danny viewed Jason as the perfect blend of old-school craftsmanship and new-generation business acumen, someone who understood both the soul of custom car culture and the realities of running a modern enterprise in the social media age. The unraveling began with what seemed like a minor issue: clients reporting that they had been contacted about expedited build options that weren't part of Count's Customs official offerings. Initially dismissed as confusion or miscommunication, the pattern became impossible to ignore when a longtime client forwarded Danny an email from a Count's Customs VIP services account offering to move his project to the front of the line for an additional $25,000 payment. to be wired to an account separate from the shop's normal business accounts. Danny launched a discreet investigation, bringing in trusted associates from outside the shop to avoid tipping off the culprit. What they uncovered left him devastated. Jason had allegedly been operating a shadow business leveraging the Count's customs name and reputation, collecting premium payments for preferential treatment while maintaining plausible deniability through carefully worded communications and a network of intermediaries. But here's where it gets complicated. The scheme extended beyond simple queue jumping. According to legal filings that emerged later, Jason had also allegedly been diverting high-value original parts from classic cars being restored at Count's Customs, replacing them with reproduction parts, and selling the originals through collector networks. For vehicles where matching numbers and original components significantly impact value, this represented not just a financial betrayal but a fundamental violation of the restoration ethics that Danny had built his reputation upon. Now, let's rewind to understand the full weight of this betrayal. Danny Koker's path to success wasn't a straight line. Before Count's Customs became a household name, he had weathered business failures, economic downturns, and periods of doubt when his uncompromising standards seemed more like liabilities than assets in a market that often rewarded speed over quality. Through it all, family had been his constant, the foundation upon which he had rebuilt after every setback. Jason wasn't just a business associate. He was the embodiment of Danny's belief that craftsmanship, integrity, and the Koker name would continue beyond his own working years. The confrontation, which wisely occurred away from cameras and production staff, has never been fully detailed publicly. Those who were present at the shop in its aftermath describe an environment of stunned silence, with Danny uncharacteristically withdrawn and subdued. Legal action was swift and comprehensive, with court documents sealed by mutual agreement during settlement negotiations. Jason disappeared not just from the show, but from the Las Vegas custom car scene entirely, with even his social media presence scrubbed clean shortly after the separation. The business impact was immediate and severe. Danny was forced to personally contact affected clients, many of whom had been dealing exclusively with Jason, to assure them that their projects remained in good hands. The shop underwent a complete security and process overhaul with new verification systems for parts acquisition and documentation. Perhaps most telling was Danny's decision not to elevate anyone else to the position Jason had held, instead spreading responsibilities across a team of trusted, long-term employees, a tacit acknowledgement that the wound inflicted by this betrayal had changed his approach to trust itself. Did Jason's actions reflect a calculated plan to exploit his privileged position from the beginning? Or did the intoxicating combination of television fame, insider status, and financial opportunity gradually erode the principles that might have otherwise guided him? Either way, his actions earned him the undisputed title of worst employee in Count's Customs history, the one whose betrayal cut deepest precisely because it came from someone who was considered family. In the high-octane world of custom cars, where reputation is currency and trust is the foundation of every business relationship, the stories of these 5 former Count's Customs employees reveal something profound about Danny Koker's approach to his craft and his legacy. Each termination, from Scott's inability to follow direction to Jason's alleged systematic betrayal, reinforces the same fundamental truth. At Count's Customs, the standard isn't just excellence. It's excellence with integrity. What makes these departures particularly significant is the contrast they create with the team members who have remained by Danny's side throughout the years. Kevin Mack, Ryan Evans, Shannon Ako, and others have weathered the pressure cooker environment of building custom vehicles under television deadlines without compromising either their craftsmanship or their character. Their longevity isn't just a testament to their technical skills, it's evidence of a shared value system that places honesty, loyalty, and pride in workmanship above fame, convenience, or short-term gain. For Danny, these 5 cautionary tales serve as painful but necessary reminders that maintaining the standards that built Count's Customs requires constant vigilance. In a business where each project carries not just a financial investment but the weight of the shop's reputation and Danny's personal name, there can be no compromise on the fundamentals: honesty with clients, respect for the craft, dedication to quality, and absolute loyalty to the team. Those who couldn't or wouldn't uphold these principles found themselves cast out of the inner circle, regardless of their talent, potential, or even family connections. Perhaps the most revealing aspect of how Danny handled these situations is what didn't happen. Despite the potential for dramatic television moments, most of these departures occurred with minimal on-screen explanation. This restraint speaks to a man who, despite his comfort in the spotlight, still believes that some aspects of business and personal integrity matter more than ratings or public spectacle. It's a philosophy that has sustained Count's customs through both triumph and betrayal, and one that will likely guide its future long after the cameras stop rolling. Thank you for taking this journey through the shadows of Count's Customs history. The stories of these 5 former employees serve as powerful reminders that in any field, but especially in the world of high-end custom vehicles, talent alone is never enough. Character, integrity, and loyalty are the true currencies of lasting success. Which of these departures surprised you most? Were you aware of any of these behind-the-scenes tensions during your time watching the show? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this deeper look into the realities behind one of television's most popular custom car shows, please hit that like button, subscribe for more content that goes beyond the glossy surface, and turn on notifications so you never miss our next upload. Your support means everything, and I'm grateful for every one of you who takes this ride with us.